Hello and welcome to the very last video you'll be getting out of me this year. That's a guarantee. A little festive bonus episode for you that I've been teasing for a while now, and some of you will probably have guessed what it is. But here's the live episode that I did at the UK Game Expo in the summer. Now, if you remember watching my video where I talked about how that all went down, you may remember that there was tech issues and all sorts of shenanigans, meaning that I couldn't record it via the PA system that they had there, and they kind of they told me I didn't need my own equipment, so it ended up going through my MacBook audio, like the internal mic, which I thought, okay, I've done a live show, but there's no record of it, whatever. But the recording ain't that bad. That said, it's not the best either. So this is a caveat that I'm giving you that, it doesn't sound as good as it normally does, even though my sound is notoriously wonky and mostly coming through one ear. So you've been warned. This is happening. This was a really goofy episode that I really enjoyed doing, but listening back to it now, it's fun. It's weird that it's canon now, I guess, given that it doesn't quite fit with the tone of the other episodes, but yeah, kind of sort of does, but I enjoyed it anyway. But see what you think. I'll stop blathering now and let you enjoy Archer Barlowe and the Plaque of Destiny. Right, let's just start. Hello, everyone. Hello. Who's just stumbled in here by accident and not knows? There we go. Yeah, there's the people in the back there. The people I know. Welcome to the live version of The Bad Spot. What a terrible, terrible fucking idea this is. This is unusual for me because some of you who actually listen to the show will know that I spend weeks agonising over every single role, trying to think of fun things to kind of come up with and tie it together thematically. And then at 3 a.m. the night before an episode comes out, when I hate myself, I finally say it's done and put it out. So I thought it would be a great idea to do this in a contained space with people looking at me, and could go terribly wrong, so I apologise in advance. I'll give some content advisory kind of viewer discretion stuff now. It's going to be PG-13. I'm not going to get into any kind of detail of anything horrific. I will use, and I'm sorry if anyone's going to clutch their pearls at this, what my grandma would call the language of snooker halls. There will be effing and possibly jeffing, maybe both. It's an and/or situation. So I'll be playing Ironsworn. Does everyone know Ironsworn? Ironsworn Starforged? Yep, you kind of know what you're talking about. This is by Sean Tompkin. It's the sci-fi version. This is the play kit from that. And it's designed to be played solo or co-op. You can play it with the GM, but I don't know who would do that. It's just weird. So it's using a lot of prompts and oracle rolls. Come in. And I'm going to make you guys do that. So I'm going to make you guys shout out some numbers, and I'm going to kind of come to you if I'm dry on inspiration, which is already happening, I can assure you. So please feel free to toss things out to me and see what I can do with them. I'm 49 episodes into this campaign, and there's a lot of lore. Well, is it lore? If it's just nonsense, isn't it? But I'm going to deliberately do a prequel to the usual campaign. So those of you familiar with it will know that I can't die. The stakes have literally never been lower in this situation. And that said, this is how I'll kill my character by saying the stakes are low. So someone give me a number between 0 and, I'm going to say 98. 25. Okay. We find ourselves on a furnace world, which is a planet with relentless volcanic activity wreathed in fire and ash, if you didn't know. And we meet our hero, Archer Barlowe, who is, I'd say, a good 6 years before we meet him in the show that some of you will know and possibly like. I'm not going to say love. So he is a younger version of himself, a less sad, depressed kind of space boy floating aimlessly through a galaxy that hates him, looking for people who want to kill him. So we find him here, kind of fresh-faced, full of some degree of optimism. He's still looking for the professor, who those of you may know he's looking for and still hasn't found yet. and he finds himself stepping off the Eclipse, which is in excellent shape because this is a prequel. There's no damage at all. It hasn't been repainted and had its wings replaced, so it is still a new Outbounder class vessel that flies relatively well. Griff is still a piece of shit. It's still a toaster. His companion bot still doesn't do anything. He will not be in this episode because I can't figure out a way of doing the sound effect for it. So the limitations of the form. I'll have another number, please, between 1 and 100.
86.
86. Okay. He steps off the Eclipse about 2 clicks away from the coordinates he's been given. And the coordinates he's been given have come from his black market contact, the Conduit. The Conduit is a shady underworld figure who gives Archer his missions. Archer finds antiquities. If you filed the numbers of Raiders of the Lost Ark and set it in space, this is kind of where we're at here. And he's received coordinates of something that is related to a precursor vault. He's been told there is a precursor vault in the world of Starforged, the civilizations before what we have now called precursors. And there's these huge enigmatic monolithic complexes that hold many ancient mysteries and a lot of weird shit. The weirdest shit I've done in the show has always been in a precursor vault, so that's what we're looking for today. And because you rolled the dice so nicely, we're going to cross a rolling field of steaming mud flats. There's these geysers of sulfurous ash, and the heat is unbearable. He is close to taking his leather jacket off, but it's too nice and fancy and it looks too cool, so he's going to keep it on. And it's about 2 clicks to the destination, and it's up a ridge on the side of a rocky outcrop, and it involves a lot of kind of struggling up loose scree until it gets to like a thin ledge, which is about 25 meters off the ground. And he shuffles along back to the wall to try and find the entrance to this precursor vault, which he is assured the information for is accurate. Another number, please. The person last through the door, give me a number between 0 and 100.
43.
43, thank you very much. So this is going to tell us what the outside of the vault looks like. Glyphs or symbols. Okay, so he shuffles along with his back to the rock, and he actually feels in his hand a difference in the relief of the rock. It's not jagged stone. It actually feels less hot, some may say cool, to touch. And when he looks, he can see there is some inexplicable iconography that he can't believe he didn't realise from down on the ground. And it is quite vast. It stretches up the side of the mountain. He thinks there must be some kind of weird fractal kind of distortion, which means you can't actually see it from the ground, but it's here and it is wondrous. The things that you see in this galaxy never stop to amaze you, but like this is something else. He's not seen anything like this. Someone else give me another number, please. That's not 43.
72.
Oh no. So, the other thing that he finds as he shuffles along this ridge and kind of looks back, there's a body, right? And it's not what he expected. And that's when Archer knows. Archer is an experienced explorer, an experienced, not Tomb Raider, and he has seen the body of someone else who is in the similar line of work, shot in the back at what is a small gap in the rock. And that's how he knows he's found his entrance. And that's how he knows he's found one of an unlucky party ahead of him who are starting to, Treasure of the Sierra Madre style, thin out their numbers to increase their take. He knows he's on the money, and now he also knows that he is in a danger. He's in a bad spot. That's the name of the show, everybody. That's why I called it that. So he is he's well aware that's where he has to go. And now he is going to head inside this precursor vault. This is not a dungeon crawl, but this is as close as we're going to get. In Ironsworn, the way you kind of mark progress on things is you have like a little tick box. I'm not going to bore anyone with rules for this game. I'm just going to roll the dice and just say what happens. So just believe me that it's going on. So yeah, we're going to make our first move here, which is That's exciting, isn't it? And it's going to be undertake an expedition which says, when you trailblaze a route through perilous space, journey over hazardous terrain, or survey a mysterious site, which this is, then give the expedition a name and rank. It's going to be look in this hole, and it's going to be easy because we've got like 45 minutes. I'm not going to keep you here very long. And then we have to choose whether we want to go quickly, whether we want to go surreptitiously, or whether we want to try and stay hidden. What's the room thinking?
Surreptitiously.
There, we're going to do that. So we are going to roll plus wits and stay vigilant, see how we get on. Yeah. On a miss, there are 3 results possible: strong hit, weak hit, and miss.
On a match.
Oh yeah, there's matches. That wasn't. I thought I was doing all right, leaning into his strongest stat, but thanks. This is your fault, right? This is like officially your fault. So it says, you are waylaid by a crisis. That's fun, isn't it? Or we arrive at a waypoint to confront an immediate hardship or threat. Do not mark progress. Well, we may run over. So, someone give me a number between 1 and 100.
14.
Okay, 14 or 40?
14.
I like that number, it's a good number. Okay, cool. Let me just say, okay. Fragile structural integrity. Thanks everyone. Okay, so he enters what could only be described as a corridor. It is hewn out of the rock, but in much the same style as the outer glyphs. It's smooth, it's cool to the touch. It's almost like the stone is like not indigenous to this planet. It is not of this world. But it's still kind of like a habitable space. There are noticeable nooks and niches and like other things that go off. But one thing that is like kind of immediately clear is he feels like he's treading on glass. He feels like every footstep he takes is a crunch and it's fragile, and he doesn't know which way is going to like suddenly just cave in and he'll fall to his doom, whatever is underneath. He can't see anything underneath, but it does not feel like a natural structure. If he was to guess, he would say that this entire structure is made out of that stuff in Fraggle Rock. You know, the Dozer's always making, and then the Fraggles. So that's my Fraggle Rock Star Force. It's the most ambitious crossover in history. So I think that's going to play in, and I think that will just be something that is part of this delve. And I think that now knowing that he's perhaps not on solid footing, as it were, he is going to have to move more carefully, and he is going to have to move more, perhaps more to the sides, kind of stay out of... well, I've tried going with my strong stat. Let's go with my middle stat, see if that does any better. So we're going to undertake an expedition again. We are going to move through this not glass dungeon, and see how we progress. I mean, that's better. That is better. It says on a weak hit, this progress costs you. So what we're going to do here, because we're moving so slowly, we're going to lose some momentum. Momentum is a mechanic which you can kind of like save up and burn to do better stuff if you need to like reroll dice or whatever. So it's taken us a while. It's been a slog, much like this recording. And we get ourselves to what can only be described as a waypoint. And we'll envision it. Let's have a number, please, between 1 and 100.
50.
50. Not 50. Oh, no, that's fine. That's, yeah. I don't want to fall into a mechanical trap, thank you. But no, that's for the peril. We didn't roll a peril. It says, intriguing device or artifact. So I think what we're going to find here is some remnant of the people who made this place. And again, it's going to be in the same architectural kind of style, and it's going to be in this strange Fraggle Rock style material, and it is a kind of like a relief carving of a figure kind of coming out of the wall almost. Not in a niche like you'd see in a church, like literally like it's coming out of the wall, like it's been frozen, kind of mid wall escape. And it is, here's a deep cut of lore for you, it's a triangle-headed thing. I'm not going to explain that, you just have to remember what, and listen to like 50 episodes of this bullshit to have got the reference, but it's like a big cheese-headed figure. Again, kind of like carved with these shallow glyphs and etchings and details that, again, appears to be made out of this strange, sandy glass material. So I'm going to mark some progress on that. We are well, we're getting through it, but also to kind of expedite this and the fact that, you know, I'm on the clock here, we're going to try and move quickly. I think Archer will have sensed that the floor and the structure is strong enough to walk on. It's strong enough to people who have built this fucking structure. So let's try and move a bit quickly and undertake an expedition rolling plus edge this time. You see, I roll against my weakest stat and it just sort of works out. So yeah, okay, he's hustling and he is moving relatively quickly through these things, trying to again still stay kind of out of sight, out of danger. And keep his wits about him to see what perils await, because he knows there are other people here and he knows that they are not above shooting their comrades in the back to get ahead. So I'm going to envision another waypoint. Someone please, a number. You know the drill, 1 in 100. 47. 47 says, stop trying to make me fall into a mechanical trap, please. There's quite a big spread on that one. Hang on. 26, that's even better. No, that we've already had fragile structural integrity. No, hang on, I'll go on a different one. Enigmatic controls or terminal. Now, there is a console of sorts on the wall, but kind of like an old switchboard. Lots of holes, lots of things that kind of be pulled out and plugged in. And it's very curious because there are like levers and switches and stuff, but it's mechanical, right? And this is a place that seems to be like not like with technology inside it. So this actually looks like, and I think he will identify this pretty easily as something that's been added a long time afterwards. What it does, he doesn't know, but he's going to push a button on it and see if that does something. And he just presses it. And I'm going to roll the dice here. And if it's even, it does a good thing. And if it's odd, it's going to do a bad thing. Okay. I'll save that for later. So, he notices a change in the air. Like, something about maybe he's been going kind of down lower, but the air seems to kind of feel more moist, which is strange for a furnace world, but I think we're all agreed, we're off the grid here. I forgot that detail. So it gets kind of like a bit clammy, let's say. It's a sauna style environment. And he does take off his jacket and he ties it around his waist because he's not going to lose it. And he also has it for 50 episodes in the future, so I can't retcon that. And yeah, he's starting to feel like he's getting closer to something. There is that explorer/adventurer's instinct that he knows he's kind of nearing where he needs to be. So we are going to, and I think giddy with excitement, he's also going to do that quickly. Plus it worked for me last time, so what could possibly go wrong? Okay, on a weak hit, oh no, actually, fuck it. I'm going to retcon that, and I'm going to say we're going to get to our destination. We're going to get to the end of this. I don't want to drag this exploration out for ages. So what we're going to do is we are going to roll to end this expedition. You'd normally do this when you'd made a lot more progress, but time is of the essence, people. And what possibly could go wrong? So we're rolling this against our progress. So we want 2 dice, both of them rolling under 6.
Preferably ones.
It's fine. Were you hoping for like a match?
Yeah. Wrong end.
Yeah, it worked to a degree. So we have ended our expedition and we have found what we are looking for, which is more than I can do in this little book. I probably should have had some more post-it notes. So we are going to finish an expedition. On a weak hit, it says you reach your destination and complete your survey. But we have to face an unforeseen complication at the end of our expedition. Envision what you encounter. Now, quick show of hands. Who wants to find a monster? Does that infer that everyone else doesn't want to find a monster? Yeah. We're finding a monster. So I think that, hang on, what about monsters, plural? Is that like more exciting or less exciting? And we'll generate one quickly. So the great thing about this is you can kind of generate the weirdest creatures using the oracles. I'm going to just say it's small, like a dog, because who doesn't like dogs, right? And we're also going to say that it's, I don't know, give me a number between like 40 and 80.
53.
I heard 54 and 63, so I'm going to mix those two together. And it's going to be insectoid. That's we're going to have like a dog-sized insect. What could be bad about that? Another number, please.
66.
66 gives us a luminescent dog-sized insect. And another one, please. An armoured, luminescent, dog-sized insect. Oh, let's just do one more for fun. Go on.
12.
Brutish or muscled. Right, okay, so hench insects with armour who are also, was it luminescent?
Yeah.
Right, so glow-in-the-dark murder bugs in suits of armour. I think that we get to a point where the floor beneath Archer kind of drops down, and there is this kind of bridge of this kind of fragile glass that goes across, but below is what can only be described as a chasm. And he slowly moves across this bridge, kind of like footstep at a time, being extra careful to kind of shift his way delicately. When he looks down into the dark below him, he can see these flashes of colour, brilliant kind of pink and orange and green. And he's like, this can't be bad, surely. So he just kind of has a look down, and he sees the floor is kind of writhing with these insects. Like, you know, I mean, he's not going to stop and take a head count, but we're talking like hundreds of these things. And when I say dog-sized, we're talking chihuahua-sized, chitinous, plated, luminescent insects. But how are they hench? Oh man, I reckon they've got arms. They've got like these kind of big, they kind of walk a bit like gorillas, like this, on their knuckles. And they've got these inexplicably shredded torsos, if you could imagine such a thing, with armour kind of coming over the top. It's spiky, the heads. Let's give them 2 sets of teeth as well, why not? They've got like a big pair of mandibles on the outside, and you can see them kind of eating this kind of gloop that's at the bottom of this chasm, some classic space goop. He doesn't want to, get down there and find out what it is, but he notices these things, and he hopes they won't become a problem later. Especially as I press that button. So he follows the this kind of like little bridge kind of up, and it takes him kind of to this opening. And the opening is about 6 feet wide by 6 feet high, and looks down into a chamber. And the chamber is totally he doesn't understand what it would have even been for, let alone like what it is. And it is a huge kind of aircraft hangar sized room, and the most of it is like in total darkness, but the bit that he's seeing is illuminated by torchlight, and it's illuminated by the torchlight of 2 people busily working against a rock face. He can't quite see what they're doing. But he can see by the kind of the orange glow of the torchlight, just kind of picks out the edges of the surroundings behind these 2 people working. There are pillars rising up from the floor with gloom just below. And these pillars are connected by a mixture of things. They are connected by makeshift wooden pallet bridges. They are connected by sheets of this crystalline glass kind of sandy structure, and some aren't connected at all. You could say this is an interesting environment for an encounter. And he can only see maybe this size room around where these people are working. So he is going to move in a bit more closely and see if he can see what these people are up to, and by doing that we are going to make a move. He's going to get his little scopes out, and he's going to have a little look, and he's going to make a move called Gather Information, which says when you search for clues, conduct an investigation, analyse evidence, or do research, roll plus wits, which he's good at. He is good at it, so that's fine. It says on a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow, action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn and take +2 momentum. So a little bit of momentum will be good for us. He can see 2 people working away. And they are heavy-set thugs. They are not the people he expected to find in such a place of archaeological discovery. And the reason that there's 2 thugs there is the bit of information that Archer learns that's most prescient is there's another body behind these 2 people. And that body is of someone who is not dressed in heavy environmental gear, who is not armed, who is much more diminutive in size and stature than these other 2. And they're dead on the floor, face down. And Archer quickly knows that that was the person who had the money, who probably made this expedition happen, and they led them to this place where this discovery they're about to make is, and in return took a bullet in the back. And now the thugs at the wall are trying to find and take whatever it is that was so valuable and keep it for themselves. They've already betrayed one of their members. Whether or not these 2 will take it down to a last man standing type affair, who knows? But what they are working on is what Archer is interested in getting hold of. It is in a pillar rising out of the floor, a small A4 sized piece of paper, but it's a glowing green plaque almost. It's a plaque of destiny, that's what we'll call it. So Archer wants the plaque of destiny. It's the MacGuffin, you know what it is, he's there to find that. It will, I'm sure, answer some ancient mystery, but for now, all we know is that that is what they are trying to hew out of the wall with pickaxes and brute strength. So, how do we want to go about getting this plaque of destiny? Any ideas? If none are forthcoming, I'm just going to fight these guys. I mean, I could probably shoot him in the back. Archer is notoriously good at combat as well. So, yeah, this can't go wrong. Right, fuck it, we're going to ambush these guys. He's not a cold-blooded killer, but I think he's smart enough to maybe try and drive them off, use the environment to his advantage, and maybe kind of skulk around in the dark, and, yeah, be in a decent position to...
Can he drive the bugs into them?
Oh, they're in the other room. So, like, he's past the bug ball pit. But like I'm sure that they won't come into it later. Like that's definitely not a thing. Okay, so when a fight's going to go down, we're going to move into the combat element of this game, which is like the rest of it, unstructured, but like there's kind of moves that you trigger that are specific to a combat situation. But how you start is a thing called Enter the Fray. It's a move. When you initiate combat or are forced into a fight, envision your objective and give it a rank. If combat includes discrete challenges or phases, blah, blah, blah. Right, I never, ever, and this is the thing about, like, 'cause I hate combat in RPGs. I really do. It's just rolling dice until, like, hit points go down and taking turns punching a goblin until you lose the will to live. It really is something that I dislike. But the thing I like about Ironsworn is there's no hit points. It's just like your objective is a progress bar, and once you've achieved that, the fight might be over. It might not be. So I'm going to say that this objective is to retrieve the Plaque of Destiny. And I'm going to make it fairly easy, because again, we've got 15 minutes to wrap this up, everyone. So hopefully it will be plain sailing. It always is. So it's going to be on the troublesome difficulty, I think it is, which is the easiest one. So what we're going to do, we're going to ambush them, aren't we? So it says, there's a lot of options for how you can enter this fight. We are preparing to act against an unaware foe. So we will be rolling plus shadow. On a miss, the fight begins with you in a bad spot, which is everyone have noticed the name of the show. So yeah, I think that what Archer has done here is he has tried his level best to get into a better position. He knows he's not very good at fighting. He knows he's not a very good shot. He knows that he's got but one small pop pistol against these two. people who will have him outmatched as soon as they find out he's trying to attack them. So he tries to get into a better position. They were too far away to snipe off with his little gun. He's going to have to get up close and, dare say it, personal. So he does. He moves down and starts to work his way across some of these creaky, unstable walkways. And it's nerve-wracking stuff. He's not enjoying himself. He doesn't like danger. He, if he could, would have a small administrative job in a bureaucratic agency in the terminus somewhere, not be doing this. But here we are. He creaks along one board and makes it to a pillar. He's now maybe about 20 to 30 metres away. He cuts across a much smaller one. That was a bit dicey. He can't believe they didn't hear him. Now he's about 15 metres away. And then he gets into a position where, inexplicably, because this is a combat encounter, there are some barrels. You know, there's just some space debris. It's lying around. Maybe for the last people who tried to take this Plaque of Destiny off the wall. Who knows? But they left it there, and he's going to crouch behind it. He is going to aim, and he is going to shoot. He wasn't really intending to hit them. He just wanted to maybe run them off. But what he did was shoot the Plaque of Destiny, which is now glowing with this iridescent energy, which is now lighting the room up to be much bigger, and he can see much more of it. And also, crucially, the thugs turn around and they can see this fucking idiot behind some crates. And they're like, oh, who left those crates there, first of all? Oh, they could have been explosive barrels. I mean, that would have been even better for a combat encounter. And these are seasoned, violent people. They pull their guns, they turn around, and they fire. Which is going to trigger our next move. We are in a bad spot. So the moves in Starforged and Ironsworn are contextual. If you're in a bad spot, if you're in control, it depends on what move you're going to do. We are going to do the move React Under Fire. When you're in a bad spot and take action in a fight to avoid danger or overcome an obstacle, envision your approach and roll. We are just falling, like jumping out of the way, trying to get to ground and try not to be shot in the face. So that is going to be dodging or getting into position or taking cover. So rolling plus edge. I crushed it, a strong hit. So you succeed and are in control. So we managed to not get shot in the face, which is always a good thing. And we move back into control. And we take +1 momentum. So we're actually getting to the stage where momentum is useful and not just a waste of ink. So I think Archer is going to have to maybe try and bank on the idea that he has got out of their line of sight, and that he can reposition somewhere else and get to a position where he might have a clearer shot of them kind of from behind. So I think he actually sees, we'll use this strong hit, we'll lean into it. There's actually a kind of a metal gangway that's been put between two of the pillars, and he sees it. It's just a short hop, which, you know, he's fine. I'm not going to roll for that because I'll die. So he just kind of hops, and then he gets on this metal gangway and kind of runs around the side. And now he's kind of at the point where his kind of field of vision is actually blocked by the thing that the Plaque of Destiny is on, but it actually gives him the best possible chance to see these people because they are now essentially standing right in the floodlights of this thing, which is reacting in a weird way, and he is going to have to like do something about that, maybe. But first, he is going to make a move. I'm going to reflect for the fact that he's got back in a decent position by making the move Gain Ground, which says when you are in control and take action in a fight to reinforce your position or move towards an objective, envision your approach and roll. We are repositioning and moving into cover. So again, plus edge. It's a weak hit, that is fine. That's good. It lets us choose either progress, momentum, or +1 on the next move. I'm going to take +1 on the next move because I know how bad I am at shooting things. And I'm going to reflect that by the fact we're saying he's got them banked to rights. They are like sitting ducks. Standing ducks, really. They still not quite sure where that shot came from. They're not sure like what's going on with this big green plaque, and maybe they're realizing they're out of their depths as kind of hired muscle. They're not archaeologists. They're just here for kind of intimidation and muscle purposes. So, muscle purposes. Love their early stuff. It's more of an album, isn't it? Muscle Purposes. They're kind of a little bit unsure about where it is, so they're back to right. So we're going to make another move. We are going to make the move Strike, which says when you're in control and assault a foe, and if you do it at distance, roll plus edge. So this is our standard attack which worked. Somehow, we have hit them in the face. It says, on a strong hit mark, progress twice. You dominate your foe. And stay in control. So I think we are going to reflect that by the fact that he manages to get a few really good shots off. And I'm going to say he drops one of these punks. Like, it just kind of crumples to the ground and kind of slides off one of these pillars into, I don't know, the abyss, I guess. Whatever's down there, who knows? I don't want to know. It's probably not. It's not. Can't be good. And I think that emboldened by killing solving 50% of his problem, shall we say, he's going to move in closer because I think he is going to press the advantage here. So I'm going to make the move again, gain ground. I'm not going to try and hit them again. I'm going to try and kind of like pump up my stats and try and get a +1 on this. And I think that reflects the solid position that Archer's in. On a miss, your foe gains the upper hand, the fight moves to a new location, or you encounter a new peril. You are in a bad spot. I think I'm going to say, because I pressed that button, which, who could have foretold this coming back to haunt me? You can hear like this kind of deep mechanical grinding. And you can feel it too, because the whole room, every piece of ground beneath their feet starts to shudder, almost like a kind of an aftershock of an earthquake. But it stops after a second. But it was like bad, whatever it was, and it was kind of reminded Archer how perilous a position he's in, and how he is just one step or trip away from certain death down a very dark hole. And I think that realization, whilst he was stood where he stood, has exposed him to being shot at. And the light from the Plaque of Destiny is growing with intensity, and in all directions now. And one of the thugs sizes him up with his nasty looking gun and takes a pot shot at Archer, and Archer's going to have to do something about that. So he is going to actually, because of the fact that maybe he stumbled with the earth tremor, I think what he's going to do is kind of just fight back. He's not going to try and take evasive action. He can't get anywhere. I think he's just going to try and loose off a couple of shots whilst he kind of still is holding a gun. That would definitely help him. So that's going to be the move Clash, which says when you're in a bad spot and fight back against a foe, and you exchange your fire at a distance, roll plus edge. Now, this is in Ironsworn a good thing to do because it allows you to get control back, but if it goes badly, it's worse than all the other ones. So, yeah, that's worse. So, on a miss, your foe dominates the exchange, you stay in a bad spot. Okay, so I'll take a hit to my health here. I think the Archer's been winged by a laser blast to the shoulder. It doesn't affect his jacket. I think it went through, so it's fine. I don't want to have to wreck on the jacket, the whole thing.
It's around his waist anyway.
That's a great point. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. You get co-writing credit this episode. Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm glad my jacket's around my waist. I'm glad I've just been shot. This is so much better. And yeah, I think, again, the last few moments of this fight, the last few beats of this scene, as it were, have reinforced like how much danger he's in. Like as he kind of puts his finger to the stinging, cauterized wound on his shoulder, he realizes that his best course of action is probably just to kind of get out of here. But the problem is now he's kind of pinned down in the open, and he's going to have to do something kind of outrageous to get out of this. So I think he is going to try and get behind where the Plaque of Destiny is. And that's going to require a running jump across the chasm, which we know that, there's stuff at the bottom of that probably. He's going to take a running jump and just get to the next one. And I am going to roll for this because it's exciting, isn't it? I can kill this guy. It's fine. We'll say it's alternate universe. So yeah, we're going to react under fire again as the air heats with laser fire as it kind of whizzes past his head. And we are acting under fire, rolling, plus edge. I fucking crushed it. I actually did that. That's incredible. Okay, so on a strong hit you succeed and are in control, take +1 momentum. Right, our momentum is getting up to useful numbers. That's great. So to make it dramatic though, I think he takes this running jump and his feet make contact with this pillar, but instantly he can feel it giving way. And the pillar starts to collapse and push him towards where the Plaque of Destiny is, as the pillar kind of falls over very slowly, kind of Bridge of Khazad-dûm style, you've said it, you know it, and it crunches into where the back of the Pillar of Destiny is. He rolls off it and does this kind of cool combat roll, which is kind of awesome, and finds himself face to face with this thug kind of disbelieving, like, how the fuck this guy did this. So I think that Archer's going to use that that kind of moment of, like, this guy going, huh? To maybe just try and do a bit of rough and tumble, like up close. We all know how good Archer is at fighting. He's even better at fighting with his hands. So yeah, let's try this and hopefully it won't go wrong. So we're going to strike because we have control, and it's going to be plus iron, which is absolutely not Archer's worst stat, but we're going to do it. And it didn't go well, but our momentum of 7 will bail us out. I knew I was saving it for something there. So we're going to burn our momentum and lose that. Go back down to 2 and turn that miss into a strong hit. So I need that. On a strong hit, mark progress twice and dominate your foe and stay in control. So we have completed our little progress bar against our person, which means we've kind of achieved our objective. But you don't just do it, you have to roll for it. But I'm first going to narrate that. So I think he kind of rolls, and surprising even himself, he kind of uppercuts this guy uses his forward momentum, rolls, stands up. This guy's like, huh? And then he just punches this guy right in the chin, right up the bracket, and he stumbles backwards and kind of just falls into the sauna of doom below. And Archer's kind of a bit surprised that he did that, as much as I am and as much as I'm sure you are. So we are now stood at the Plaque of Destiny, and we have no obstacles in our path. All we need to do is roll to take decisive action in this encounter. And that, I'm going to say, is us. We're going to try and... Because since the change of shooting it has kind of changed the way that the Plaque is reacting, I think we can probably just take it. I think it's... plot-wise, we can just, it's fine, don't worry about it. We shot it, that's the easiest way to get something out of a wall. So it says, when you seize an objective in a fight, envision how you take decisive action, then roll the challenge dice compared to your progress. We do have 9 progress, so that should be fine. Anything other than 9 or 10 is good. So yeah, I think that he's going to have that Hollywood moment. His face is illuminated in this emerald glow as he moves in on his... Oh, he should have had a little bag of sand to swap with it, shouldn't he? That would have been really handy.
Sheet of paper.
Yeah, he's a sheet of paper. It's fine, don't worry about it. Just fudge it. You've heard the show before. So yeah, he's looking at it, and he reached out and he touches it. And we didn't get a strong hit, but we did get a weak hit, so it did work, but something happened.
It's a slap.
His big hand comes out and slaps him,
hand comes over the chasm.
Oh,
didn't
no.
actually fall all the way down.
Yeah, no, that guy's dead. That guy's dead. He's not coming back. I didn't describe him well enough to bring him back. So it says, on a weak hit, you achieve your objective, but not without cost. And there's a little table on there to roll on. I'm not going to roll on it because I'm going to pick, because it just sounds awesome. Right, victory is short-lived, a new peril or foe appears. So Archer looks at the Plaque of Destiny. Up close, it is once again marked with these intricate, inexplicable glyphs and carvings. He doesn't understand it. In many ways, he doesn't want to. He reaches out and he touches it and pulls it easily, because this is fine, easily out of the wall. He hasn't gone through what he goes through in the series yet, so he doesn't feel anything when he's holding it in his hands, except that he knows this is a thing of great power and of great value, and he needs to get out of there quickly. Once again, there is a rumble, and below his feet, he can feel the pillars start to shift and sway. He knows he has to get out of it quick. So he starts across wooden bridges, across sheet, sand, glass bits to get between pillars to pillars to pillars. And then there is another rumble, a bigger rumble this time. And he turns to see where it's coming from. It's coming from the chasm below. He sees pillar after pillar fall side to side to side, and then sees a green, orangey blue glow rising up from the darkness, because Mama Bear insect is here, having had her nest disturbed, and a giant, huge, airplane-sized, armoured, iridescent, double-toothed hench, arms coming out and pulling these pillars apart, a bug appears, and Archer looks at it, steps backwards onto another sheet of sandy glass connecting two pillars, and feels the splintering beneath his feet as it starts to give way. I feel like that's a nice place to end it. Everyone, thank you very much for coming to the Bad Spot Live. Thank you. Thank you a million times. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe if you have not done so already, and click the little bell icon so you can be notified as soon as the next episode drops. And please do check out the Bad Spot Patreon. I'll be back next time, but until then, it's farewell and safe passage.